First contact, the arrival. The night sky above the Atacama Desert blazed with countless stars, their ancient light a stark contrast to the cutting-edge array of radio telescopes scattered across the landscape. Dr. Samara Patel stood motionless, her eyes fixed on the horizon where the first hint of dawn was beginning to break. For 3 days, she had barely slept, fueled by a mixture of caffeine and sheer adrenaline. Dr. Patel, a voice crackled through her earpiece. "We've got another signal. It's incredible." Samara sprinted towards the main control center, her heart pounding. As she burst through the doors, she was met with a scene of controlled chaos. Dozens of scientists and technicians huddled around monitors, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of screens displaying a dizzying array of data. "Talk to me, Chen," Samara demanded, approaching her lead signal analyst. Dr. Chen Wei looked up, his eyes wide with a mixture of excitement and disbelief. "It's not random noise, Samara. It's a pattern. A complex, repeating pattern that defies any natural explanation, and it's getting stronger." Samara leaned in, studying the waveforms on Chen's screen. The signal pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm, unlike anything she had ever seen in her years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life. "Where's it coming from?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Chen tapped a few keys, bringing up a star chart. "That's the thing. It's not coming from any specific star system. It's like it's coming from everywhere at once." A chill ran down Samara's spine. This was it. The moment every SETI researcher dreamed of, but never truly expected to experience. First contact. As the implications of their discovery began to sink in, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Red warning lights flashed, casting an eerie glow across the faces of the startled scientists. "What now?" Samara shouted over the din. One of the junior researchers called out, "Multiple objects entering the atmosphere. They're slowing down." Samara rushed to the window, her eyes scanning the pre-dawn sky. At first, she saw nothing. Then, like a mirage shimmering into existence, they appeared. 3 sleek, silvery objects, far too large to be any known aircraft, descending with impossible grace towards the desert floor. "My God," she breathed. Within minutes, the facility was swarming with military personnel. Colonel Jack Harper, a grizzled veteran with more combat experience than he cared to remember, strode into the control room, flanked by a team of heavily armed soldiers. "Dr. Patel," he barked, "I need a sitrep. Now." Samara tore her eyes away from the window. "Colonel, we've got confirmed extraterrestrial contact. 3 vessels, unknown origin or capabilities, currently landing approximately 10 kilometers west of our position." Harper nodded, his face a mask of professionalism. "All right, people. This is not a drill. We've trained for this. Dr. Patel, you're with me. The rest of you, secure all data and prepare for potential evacuation." As Samara followed Harper out of the building, her mind raced. Years of speculation, of wondering what first contact might be like, and now it was happening. But instead of the joy and wonder she had always imagined, she felt a creeping sense of dread. They boarded a waiting helicopter, the rotors already spinning up. As they lifted off, Samara got her first clear view of the alien ships. They were beautiful in their otherworldliness, smooth and seamless, with no visible means of propulsion. They hovered just above the desert floor, kicking up small dust devils beneath them. Any attempts at communication? Harper shouted over the roar of the helicopter. Samara shook her head. Nothing beyond the initial signal. We're broadcasting a welcome message on all frequencies, but so far, no response. As they neared the landing site, Samara noticed a change. A shimmering field of energy began to coalesce around the ships, pulsing with an ethereal light. "Colonel," she said, pointing, "look." Before Harper could respond, a beam of intense white light shot out from the lead ship, striking the helicopter. Samara braced for impact, certain they were about to be vaporized. Instead, the helicopter's systems went dark, and they began to plummet. "Brace for impact," Harper yelled, grabbing Samara and pulling her close. The world spun, and Samara closed her eyes, waiting for the inevitable crash. But it never came. Instead, she felt a strange sensation, as if her entire body was tingling. When she opened her eyes, she found herself standing on solid ground, Harper beside her, both of them unharmed. They were surrounded by a semicircle of tall, slender beings. Their skin shimmered with an iridescent quality, and their large, almond-shaped eyes regarded the humans with an unreadable expression. One of the aliens stepped forward, its movements fluid and graceful. It raised a hand, palm outward, in what Samara hoped was a universal gesture of peace. And then, to her utter astonishment, it spoke, not in any human language, but directly into her mind. "Greetings, children of Earth," the thought voice resonated within her. "We have long awaited this moment. You stand now at the threshold of a greater universe, full of wonders and terrors beyond your imagining. But you are not alone. We are the Guardians, and we have come to prepare you for what lies ahead." Samara glanced at Harper, seeing her own mix of awe and apprehension mirrored in his eyes. Whatever came next, it was clear that the fate of humanity now hung in the balance. As the alien's words faded from her mind, Samara found her voice. We welcome you to Earth," she said, her scientist's curiosity overcoming her fear. "But prepare us for what?" The Guardian's eyes seemed to shimmer with an inner light. "For the greatest challenge your species has ever faced. The galaxy is vast, but it is not always kind. There are forces at work that threaten all life everywhere. We have chosen you, humanity, to play a crucial role in the coming conflict." Harper stepped forward, his military training asserting itself. "And if we refuse?" The alien's mental voice took on a grave tone. "Then all that you know, all that you love, will cease to be. The choice, as always, is yours. But know this, we did not choose Earth by chance. Your species possesses something unique, something that may very well be the key to saving us all." As the weight of the Guardian's words settled over them, Samara and Harper exchanged glances. In that moment, they both knew that nothing would ever be the same again. The stars that had once seemed so distant, so unreachable, now loomed large with both promise and peril. The dawn finally broke over the Atacama Desert, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. But for Samira Patel and Jack Harper, it was more than just a new day. It was the dawn of a new era for humanity, one that would test their courage, their ingenuity, and their very understanding of what it meant to be human. The Guardians stood silently, waiting for humanity's response, and in the growing light of a new day, Earth's representatives prepared to take their first steps into a larger, more dangerous, and infinitely more wondrous universe, the Galactic Council. Dr. Samara Patel stood at the viewport of the Guardian vessel, her eyes wide with wonder as she beheld the vastness of space. Beside her, Colonel Jack Harper maintained his stoic demeanor, but even he couldn't hide the awe in his eyes as they approached their destination. "I still can't believe this is happening," Samara murmured, her breath fogging the transparent material of the viewport. Jack nodded, his voice low. "First contact was one thing, but this is beyond anything we could have imagined." The Guardian escort, a being they had come to know as Zarol, approached silently. Its thought voice resonated in their minds. "We are approaching the Nexus. Prepare yourselves. The Galactic Council awaits." As they watched, a structure began to take shape in the distance. At first, Samara thought it was a planet, but as they drew closer, she realized it was artificial. The Nexus was a massive space station, a gleaming construct of impossible geometry that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "My God," Jack breathed. "It's bigger than Earth." Zarol's mental voice held a note of pride. The Nexus is the heart of galactic civilization, home to the council that governs thousands of species across millions of light years. And now, humanity will have its voice heard within its chambers. Their ship glided into a vast docking bay, joining hundreds of other vessels of varying designs. As they disembarked, Samura and Jack found themselves in a bustling spaceport teeming with life forms beyond their wildest imaginations. Beings of every conceivable shape, size, and composition moved about their business. Some floated on cushions of air, others slithered across the floor, while still others phased in and out of visibility. The air was filled with a cacophony of sounds, smells, and colors that overwhelmed the human senses. "Stay close," Zarel cautioned. "The council chambers are this way." As they made their way through the crowded corridors, Samura couldn't help but notice the looks they were receiving. Some aliens regarded them with curiosity, others with what seemed like amusement, and a few with what she could only interpret as disdain. "I feel like we're in a zoo," Jack muttered, "and we're the main attraction." Samura nodded, understanding his discomfort. "We're probably the first humans many of these beings have ever seen. We're newcomers here, Jack. Very, very new." They entered a vast, circular chamber. Tiered seating surrounded a central platform, each section occupied by representatives of different species. At the highest tier sat beings that seemed to glow with an inner light, the Guardians. As Samura and Jack were led to the central platform, a hush fell over the assembly. Thousands of eyes, sensory organs, and other means of perception focused on the two humans. A Guardian, distinguished by elaborate markings on its iridescent skin, rose and addressed the chamber. Its mental voice, unlike Zarel's, reached every mind present simultaneously. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we present to you the representatives of Earth, a world that stands at the threshold of joining our grand assembly." Murmurs, both audible and telepathic, rippled through the chamber. Samura stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "Greetings, honored members of the Council. I am Dr. Samura Patel, and this is Colonel Jack Harper. We come before you as emissaries of Earth, eager to learn and to contribute to this incredible community of worlds." A being that resembled a sentient crystal formation chimed in, its voice ringing like bells. "You stand before us, so new, so young. Do you even comprehend the age of this assembly? The youngest among us have seen 1,000 of your civilizations rise and fall." Jack stepped forward, his military bearing evident. "With all due respect, our youth doesn't diminish our potential. Humanity has achieved much in a short time, and we're prepared to face whatever challenges lie ahead." A ripple of what might have been laughter, or its alien equivalent, passed through the chamber. But before anyone could respond, a new voice cut through the din. It belonged to a being shrouded in shadows, its form indistinct and ever-shifting. "Potentially say, perhaps, but do they know why they're truly here? Do they understand the threat that looms over us all?" The chamber fell silent. Samura and Jack exchanged glances, a sense of unease growing between them. The lead Guardian spoke again, its mental voice grave. "The time has come to reveal the truth. Humans of Earth, you have been brought here not merely as new members of our community, but as potential saviors." Holographic displays flickered to life around the chamber, showing images that made Samura's blood run cold. Entire solar systems consumed by what looked like living darkness. Planets crumbling, stars going dark. "We face an enemy beyond imagining," the Guardian continued. "A cosmic horror we call the Void. It consumes all in its path, growing stronger with each world it devours. For millennia, we have fought to hold it at bay, but our efforts are failing. Our most ancient prophecies speak of a young race possessing a unique spark that will turn the tide of this war." Jack's voice was tight with tension. "And you think that's us, humanity?" The shadowy being spoke again. "Think? No, we hope. Because if it's not you, then all is lost." Samura's mind reeled. They had come seeking knowledge, community, a place among the stars. Instead, they found a galaxy teetering on the brink of annihilation. "What? What can we do?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The lead Guardian descended from its high seat, approaching Samura and Jack, Its eyes, filled with ancient wisdom and profound sorrow, met theirs. That, children of Earth, is what we must discover together. For in your hands may lie the fate of all creation. As the weight of this revelation settled over them, Samura and Jack stood at the heart of the Galactic Council, no longer merely representatives of Earth, but unwitting bearers of the galaxy's last, desperate hope. The chamber erupted into a flurry of discussion, debates breaking out among the various factions. Some argued for immediately conscripting Earth into the war effort, while others insisted on further study of human potential. Through it all, Samura and Jack remained at the center, trying to process the monumental task that had been laid before them. "This is insane," Jack muttered to Samura. "How can they expect us to save the galaxy when we've barely left our own solar system?" Samura shook her head, her scientific mind already racing with possibilities. "I don't know, Jack, but think about it. We've achieved in centuries what took some of these species millennia. There must be something unique about us, something they've seen that we haven't yet recognized in ourselves." As the debate raged on, a new hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a spiral galaxy with a dark, consuming force slowly eating away at its edges. The lead guardian's voice cut through the chaos. "Behold the advance of the void. At its current rate of expansion, it will reach Earth's sector within 5 of your years. We do not have the luxury of time for extended debate." A hush fell over the assembly. Samura stepped forward, her voice surprisingly steady. "You say we have potential, that we might be the key to stopping this void. Then tell us how. What do you need from Earth?" The shadowy being materialized beside them, its form still indistinct. "It is not what we need from Earth, young one. It is what Earth itself possesses. Your planet harbors an energy, a force we have only theories about. We believe it may be the antithesis to the void." Jack frowned. "What kind of energy? Our scientists have never detected anything like that." The lead guardian approached, its eyes shimmering with an inner light. "Because you have not known to look for it. This energy permeates your world, your very beings. It is what gives your species its remarkable adaptability, its relentless drive to survive and thrive against all odds. We call it the spark." Samura's mind raced with the implications. "And you think this spark can stop the void?" "Not alone," the Guardian replied, "but harnessed, focused, and combined with the technologies and wisdom of the galactic community, it may be our only hope." The crystal being chimed in again. "The question remains, how do we proceed? We cannot simply invade Earth and begin experiments. The humans must be willing participants." Jack straightened, his military training kicking in. "Then let us return to Earth. Let us explain the situation to our leaders, our people. If humanity is to play a role in this war, it must be by choice." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. The lead guardian nodded solemnly. "So be it. You will return to Earth as our ambassadors. But remember, time is short. The fate of countless worlds now rests on your shoulders." As the council session adjourned, Samura and Jack found themselves being ushered back to their ship. Their minds were reeling from the revelations, the responsibility that had been thrust upon them. Zarul met them at the docking bay, its thought voice tinged with concern. "Are you prepared for what lies ahead? The task before you is monumental." Samura looked out at the vastness of space, her voice quiet but determined. "We have to be. The entire galaxy is counting on us." As their ship disengaged from the Nexus, beginning the journey back to Earth, Samura and Jack shed a look of grim determination. They had come seeking answers among the stars, but instead found a desperate plea for help. Now, they carried with them the knowledge that could either save their species or condemn it, and the entire galaxy to oblivion. The stars streaked by as they hurtled through space, each pinpoint of light now a reminder of the countless lives hanging in the balance. Earth, once their whole world, now seemed like a small, fragile thing in the face of the cosmic horror that threatened all of existence. But as they approached their home, a fierce determination took root in both Samura and Jack. Humanity had faced extinction before, had overcome impossible odds throughout its history. Now, on the grandest stage imaginable, they would be called upon to do so again. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and Earth's time among the stars had only just begun. The daring plan. The United Nations General Assembly Hall buzzed with tension. World leaders, top scientists, and military strategists from across the globe sat in stunned silence as they absorbed the holographic presentation before them. Dr. Samira Patel and Colonel Jack Harper stood at the podium, having just finished briefing Earth's leadership on the dire situation facing not just their world, but the entire galaxy. Secretary General Adama Nkrumah was the first to break the silence. Dr. Patel, Colonel Harper, you're telling us that not only are we not alone in the universe, but that we're also on the brink of annihilation by some cosmic void. Samira nodded gravely. Yes, Mr. Secretary General, the Galactic Council has placed their hope in humanity to find a solution. They believe our planet harbors a unique energy they call the spark, which may be key to stopping the void. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Chinese premier leaned forward, her eyes sharp. And what do these aliens propose we do? Hand over our planet for their experiments? Jack stepped up to the microphone. No, Madam Premier. The decision on how to proceed rests with us, but we need to act quickly. We have less than 5 years before the void reaches our sector of space. As debates erupted among the world leaders, Samira and Jack exchanged worried glances. They had expected skepticism, even outright disbelief, but the clock was ticking. Suddenly, a voice cut through the chaos. I have a proposal. All eyes turned to Dr. Imani Okoro, a brilliant Nigerian astrophysicist who had been part of the team analyzing the data from the Galactic Council. Imani stood, her voice steady despite the weight of attention on her. We've been studying the information provided by the Guardians, correlating it with our own scientific knowledge. I believe we can develop a plan that not only addresses the void threat, but does so in a way that's uniquely human. She strode to the podium, plugging a data drive into the holographic projector. A complex diagram sprang to life, showing a network of energy pathways crisscrossing the Earth. We've discovered that the spark isn't just some mystical energy, it's quantifiable, and it's tied to the Earth's geomagnetic field. More importantly, we've found a way to potentially harness and amplify it. The assembly leaned in, captivated. Imani continued, her excitement palpable. We propose creating a global network of energy collectors, tapping into the Earth's natural spark reservoirs. Then, using a combination of our technology and insights from the Galactic Council, we can forge a weapon capable of repelling the void. Jack's eyes widened. A weapon? What kind of weapon are we talking about? Imani's gaze swept the room. Not a conventional weapon, Colonel. More like a cosmic immune system. We seed the galaxy with spark-infused particles, creating a network that can detect and neutralize void incursions. We're calling it Operation Stardust. The hall erupted into a flurry of questions and exclamations. Secretary General Nkrumah raised his hands, calling for order. Dr. Okoro, this sounds, well, frankly, it sounds like science fiction. Can we really accomplish something like this in less than 5 years? Samira stepped forward. With global cooperation and the resources of the Galactic Council, yes, but it will require an unprecedented level of collaboration and effort. As the world leaders debated the proposal, a communication request chimed on the holographic display. The alien members of the Galactic Council had been listening in. The lead Guardian's image appeared, its expression unreadable. We have heard your plan, humans of Earth. It is audacious. Many among our ranks express skepticism. Such an approach has never been attempted. The shadowy being materialized next to the Guardian. It is precisely because it has never been attempted that it might succeed. The void anticipates our usual strategies. This, Operation Stardust, is unpredictable. It may be our best hope. Despite the endorsement, Murmurs of doubt still rippled through both the human assembly and the alien observers. The Russian president stood, his voice gruff. The scale of this operation, it would require us to reveal the existence of alien life to the entire world. The panic, the societal upheaval, will be nothing compared to the annihilation we face if we do nothing, Samara interjected, her voice firm. Yes, there will be chaos. Yes, the world as we know it will change. But isn't that better than having no world at all? A hush fell over the assembly. Jack stepped up, his military bearing on full display. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this is overwhelming. But right now, we're not just representatives of our nations. We're representatives of our entire species, of Earth itself. The galaxy is watching. It's time to show them what humanity is capable of. Slowly, heads began to nod. The mood in the room shifted from skepticism to determination. Secretary General Nkrumah stood, his voice ringing out. We'll put it to a vote. All in favor of initiating Operation Stardust, say aye. The response was thunderous. Aye. As the decision reverberated through the hall, Samara felt a weight lift from her shoulders, only to be replaced by a new one. They had their mandate. Now came the hard part. In the weeks that followed, the world transformed. As news of alien life and the impending threat spread, society teetered on the brink of chaos. But faced with extinction, humanity rallied. Old rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their resources and knowledge. Construction began on the global network of spark collectors. Every continent buzzed with activity as massive structures rose from the Earth, designed to tap into the planet's hidden energy. At a secure facility in the Rocky Mountains, a small team of Earth's brightest minds gathered. Scientists, engineers, and strategists from around the world, chosen for their brilliance and adaptability. Among them were Samara, Jack, and Imani, now the core leadership of Operation Stardust. Samara stood before the assembled team, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Each of you has been chosen for your unique skills and your ability to think beyond conventional boundaries. The task before us is monumental, but the stakes couldn't be higher. Jack stepped forward. You've all been briefed on the situation. You know the risks. This isn't just a mission. It's a fight for our very existence. And not just ours, but that of countless other worlds. Imani brought up a holographic display of their progress. We've made significant strides in understanding and harnessing the spark, but we need to push further faster. We need innovations that will make the impossible possible. As the team dove into their work, representatives from the Galactic Council arrived to offer their assistance. The integration of alien and human technology created challenges no one had ever faced before. Days blurred into weeks, weeks into months. The team worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of science and engineering. There were setbacks, catastrophic failures that shook their confidence. But with each obstacle overcome, their resolve strengthened. One evening, as Samara was poring over data in her lab, she felt a presence behind her. It was Zarol, the guardian who had first brought them to the Galactic Council. Your species continues to surprise us. Zarol's voice resonated in her mind. Many on the Council believed you would crumble under the pressure. Instead, you've united in ways we never anticipated. Samara smiled warily. It's what we do. When our backs are against the wall, humanity has a way of pulling off the impossible. Zarol's form shimmered. The void grows stronger. We've lost 3 more systems in the outer reaches. Your Operation Stardust may be our last hope. The weight of those words settled heavily on Samara's shoulders. She turned back to her work with renewed determination. Months passed, and finally, a breakthrough. Imani burst into the command center, her eyes wild with excitement. We've done it. The prototype is stable. The team gathered around a containment chamber where a small glowing orb hovered. It pulsed with an energy that made the air itself seem alive. Is that? Jack started. Imani nodded, grinning. A concentrated spark node, stable and reproducible. With this, we can begin large-scale production of our stardust particles. As the team celebrated this crucial milestone, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Samara rushed to the main console, her heart sinking as she read the incoming data. "It's the void," she announced, her voice tight. "It's accelerating. We've just lost 2 years of our projected timeline." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They were out of time. The final phase of Operation Stardust would have to begin now, ready or not. Jack's voice cut through the tension. "You heard the lady. We're on the clock. I want every team at battle stations. This is what we've been preparing for." As the facility erupted into frenzied activity, Samara, Jack, and Imani shared a look of grim determination. The fate of the galaxy now rested on their shoulders, and the true test of humanity's resolve was about to begin. Outside, the night sky sparkled with stars, each one now a reminder of the countless lives hanging in the balance. Operation Stardust was no longer just a plan. It was humanity's last, desperate hope against the encroaching darkness. And as the Earth itself seemed to pulse with the newfound energy of the spark, the final countdown to either salvation or oblivion had begun. Into the unknown, the launch facility in the Atacama Desert hummed with nervous energy. At its center stood the Stardust Carrier, a massive ship that melded human ingenuity with alien technology. Its sleek hull gleamed in the harsh desert sun, hiding the incredible power contained within. Dr. Samara Patel stood at the base of the ship, her heart pounding as she addressed the assembled crew. "Today, we embark on the most important journey in human history. Each of you has been chosen not just for your skills, but for your courage and adaptability. What we're about to face, it's beyond anything we've trained for. But remember, the fate of not just Earth, but countless worlds across the galaxy rests on our success." Colonel Jack Harper stepped forward, his voice carrying across the launch pad. "Our mission is clear. We will travel to the front lines of the Void's advance, deploying our Stardust network to create a barrier against its expansion. This isn't just a scientific expedition, it's a battle for survival." Dr. Imani Okoro, clutching a datapad with their final calculations, nodded gravely. "The spark-infused particles we developed are our best hope, but we'll need to adapt our strategy as we go. The Void is unlike anything we've ever encountered." As the crew of 50, a mix of scientists, engineers, and military personnel, boarded the ship, Samara felt a presence beside her. It was Zarol, the guardian who had become their liaison to the Galactic Council. "The hopes of many worlds go with you." Zarol's thought voice resonated in her mind. "But be warned, the Void is not merely a force of nature. It has awareness. It will resist your efforts." Samara swallowed hard, nodding her understanding. With a final look at the blue sky above, she boarded the ship. As the airlock sealed behind her, she couldn't shake the feeling that she might never see Earth again. The launch was smooth, the advanced propulsion systems lifting them effortlessly into orbit. As they broke free of Earth's gravity, the crew gathered in the observation deck, watching their home world shrink to a blue marble against the vastness of space. Jack's voice came over the intercom, all systems nominal, preparing for our first jump to light speed. Samara braced herself. They had trained for this, but simulations could never fully prepare one for the reality of faster-than-light travel. As the stars outside blurred into streaks of light, she felt a momentary disorientation before the inertial dampeners fully engaged. Their journey had begun. Days blurred into weeks as they traveled deeper into uncharted space. The ship's AI, affectionately named GAIA, Galactic Artificial Intelligence Assistant, kept them on course, constantly adjusting their trajectory based on the latest data from the Galactic Council's sensor networks. It was during their 3rd week of travel that they encountered their first real challenge. Alarms blared throughout the ship as GAIA's voice echoed through the corridors. "Alert. Unknown anomaly detected ahead. Recommend immediate exit from light speed." The ship shuddered as they dropped back into normal space. Through the viewports, they saw it, a swirling mass of energy, like a cosmic whirlpool, directly in their path. Imani's fingers flew over her console. It's some kind of spatial distortion. Our sensors can't penetrate it. Can we go around it? Jack asked, already plotting alternative routes. Gaia's holographic form materialized in the center of the bridge. Negative, Colonel. The anomaly extends beyond our sensor range in all directions. We are effectively blocked. Samara felt a chill run down her spine. Could this be the work of the void? Before anyone could answer, a new alarm sounded. Imani's eyes widened as she read the incoming data. We're picking up a distress signal. There's a ship trapped inside the anomaly. Jack frowned. It could be a trap. Or it could be allies who need our help, Samara countered. We can't just leave them. After a tense debate, a decision was made. They would attempt a rescue, but not before deploying a series of probe drones to gather more data on the anomaly. Hours passed as they analyzed the incoming information. Finally, Imani believed she had a solution. If we modulate our shields to match the frequency of the anomaly's outer layer, we might be able to slip through. It was risky, but they had no other choice. As they edged closer to the swirling energy field, Samara felt the ship vibrate beneath her feet. For a terrifying moment, she thought they might be torn apart. Then, with a final lurch, they broke through. Inside the anomaly, space itself seemed to twist and warp. In the distance, they could see the stranded ship, a sleek vessel of obvious alien design. As they approached, a communication channel opened. A face appeared on their view screen, vaguely humanoid, but with metallic skin that shimmered like liquid mercury. Unidentified vessel, we are the Novari. We did not expect a rescue. Samara stepped forward. We are from Earth. We picked up your distress signal. Are you in need of assistance? The Novari's eyes widened. Earth? You are the ones spoken of in whispers across the galaxy. The ones who would challenge the void itself. As they worked to free the Novari ship, they learned more about their new allies. The Novari were a race of biomechanical beings, highly advanced in matters of quantum mechanics and spatial manipulation. They had been studying the anomaly, believing it to be a byproduct of the void's expansion, when they became trapped. With the combined efforts of both crews, they managed to break free of the anomaly's grasp. As they regrouped in normal space, the Novari captain, Senla, approached Samara with an offer. We have heard of your mission, your Operation Stardust. We believe our technology could greatly enhance your efforts. If you would have us, we would join your cause. It was an unexpected turn of events, but a welcome one. The addition of the Novari's expertise could prove invaluable in the challenges to come. As they continued their journey, now with their new allies in tow, the team faced a relentless series of obstacles. Gravitational anomalies that threatened to tear the ship apart. Regions of space where the laws of physics seemed to break down entirely. And always at the edges of their sensors, the looming presence of the void, growing stronger with each passing day. But with each challenge overcome, the crew's resolve strengthened. Human ingenuity, combined with alien wisdom, proved to be a formidable force. They adapted their plans on the fly, pushing the boundaries of science and technology in ways they never thought possible. One evening, as Samara was reviewing data in her quarters, she received an unexpected visitor. It was Zarol the Guardian, its form shimmering into existence before her. You have come far, Zarol's voice echoed in her mind. Farther than many believed possible, but the true test still lies ahead. Samara nodded, her exhaustion evident. The void, we're getting closer, aren't we? Zarol's form seemed to flicker, as if disturbed by some unseen force. Yes, and it senses you. Prepare yourselves, humans of Earth. The void does not merely consume, it corrupts. It will try to turn you against each other, to sow doubt and fear. As Zarol's warning hung in the air, a violent tremor shook the ship. Alarms blared as Samara rushed to the bridge. The view screen showed a sight that made her blood run cold. Before them, space itself seemed to be unraveling. The stars were going dark, replaced by an all-consuming blackness that defied description. At its edges, reality itself seemed to warp and twist. They had reached the front lines of the void's advance. The final phase of Operation Stardust was about to begin. Jack's voice cut through the stunned silence on the bridge. "Battle stations, everyone. This is what we came here for." As the crew scrambled to their positions, Samara shared a look with Imani and Jack. They had journeyed into the unknown, faced challenges beyond imagination, and forged unexpected alliances. Now, at the edge of oblivion, they would make their stand. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and humanity's greatest test was about to begin, the final gambit. The bridge of the Stardust carrier thrummed with tension as the crew stared at the terrifying spectacle before them. The void loomed like a cancer in space, devouring light and matter alike. Its edges pulsed and writhed, defying the laws of physics and sanity. Dr. Samira Patel's voice cut through the stunned silence. "This is it, everyone. Everything we've worked for comes down to this moment. Imani, status on the Stardust deployment systems." Dr. Imani Okoro's fingers danced across her console. All systems green. The spark-infused particles are primed and ready for dispersal. Colonel Jack Harper's jaw was set in grim determination. Defense systems at maximum. But against that, he gestured at the roiling darkness ahead. "I'm not sure what good they'll do." Senla, the Novari captain, stepped forward. "Our quantum field generators are online. They should provide an extra layer of protection against the void's reality warping effects." Samara nodded, taking a deep breath. "All right, DIA, begin the deployment sequence. Let's light up the darkness." The A's serene voice filled the bridge. "Initiating Operation Stardust. Deployment pods launching in 3, 2, 1. From the belly of the ship, hundreds of sleek pods erupted, streaking towards the edge of the void. As they neared the darkness, they burst open, releasing clouds of glittering particles. The stardust, infused with the unique energy of Earth's spark, began to spread in a glowing network. For a moment, hope surged through the crew. The particles seemed to be forming a barrier, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. But then, without warning, the void pulsed. Tendrils of pure blackness lashed out, enveloping several of the deployment pods. Alarms blared as sensors went haywire. "It's adapting," Imani shouted, her eyes wide with fear and awe. "The void is actively counteracting the stardust." Jack's voice was tight. "Evasive maneuvers. We can't let those tendrils reach the ship." As the Stardust carrier banked hard, narrowly avoiding a grasping tendril of void, Samara felt a chill run down her spine. This was more than just a mindless force of destruction. The void was reacting, strategizing. It was, in some unknowable way, alive. "We need to increase the spark concentration," Samara said, her mind racing. "Imani, can we reroute power from non-essential systems to boost the Stardust output?" Imani nodded, already making the adjustments. "Doing it now. But Samira, if we push it too hard, we risk overloading the entire system." "We don't have a choice," Samara replied. "It's all or nothing now." As the enhanced Stardust particles flooded into space, the battle intensified. The glowing network of particles clashed with the tendrils of void in a cosmic light show that defied description. Reality itself seemed to warp and bend at the point of contact. Suddenly, a violent tremor rocked the ship. Sparks flew from consoles as systems overloaded. "Hull breach in Section C," Jack shouted, "with venting atmosphere." Senla's metallic form blurred as the Novari captain rushed to assist, rerouting power to emergency force fields. "We can contain the breach, but our shields are weakening." As the crew fought to keep the ship together, Samara noticed something strange on the main view screen. Where the Stardust particles were most concentrated, the void seemed to be retreating. No, not retreating, transforming. Imani, are you seeing this? Samara asked, her voice hushed with wonder. Imani nodded, her eyes glued to her readings. The void, it's not just being pushed back. In some areas, it's being converted. The spark energy is fundamentally changing its structure. A surge of hope rushed through Samara. This was it, the key they'd been searching for. But before she could capitalize on this discovery, another, more powerful tremor shook the ship. Gaia's voice, normally calm, took on an urgent tone. Warning. Void tendrils have breached the outer hull. Corruption spreading through ship systems. The lights flickered, and for a heart-stopping moment, the artificial gravity failed. As the crew floated weightlessly, Samara saw something that chilled her to her core. Creeping tendrils of darkness were seeping through the walls, bringing with them an otherworldly cold. "It's inside the ship," Jack said, his voice tight with tension. "We need to evacuate." But Samara's mind was racing. An idea, wild and desperate, was forming. "No," she said, "we need to go deeper." "What?" Jack looked at her like she'd lost her mind. "Samara, we need to fall back, regroup." "There's no time," Samara cut him off. "Don't you see? The void isn't just destruction, it's transformation. And transformation can go both ways. We need to introduce the spark directly into its core." Imani's eyes widened as she caught on. A reverse corruption. But Samara, to do that, we'd need to. To enter the void itself, Samara finished. "I know." A heavy silence fell over the bridge, broken only by the creaking of the ship's stressed hull and the distant alarms. Jack was the first to speak. "It's suicide." "Maybe," Samara admitted, "but it's our only chance. The fate of the entire galaxy rests on this moment. We have to try." One by one, the crew nodded their agreement. Even in the face of cosmic horror, human determination shone through. "I will go with you," Senna said, stepping forward. "My people have long studied the nature of reality. Perhaps together, we can navigate the unreality of the void." Preparations were made in a frenzy of activity. The remaining stardust particles were concentrated into a single blindingly bright sphere. Samara, Jack, Imani, and Senla donned specially modified suits, each containing a concentrated dose of spark energy. As they stood in the airlock, preparing to step into the abyss, Samara felt a moment of doubt. Were they walking to their doom, or towards the salvation of countless worlds? Jack seemed to sense her hesitation. He placed a hand on her shoulder, his voice firm through the comm link. "Whatever happens, we face it together. For Earth, for the galaxy." Samara nodded, steeling herself. With a hiss, the airlock opened, and they stepped out into the swirling chaos where the stardust battle raged. Using maneuvering thrusters, they pushed towards the heart of the void. The darkness engulfed them, reality twisting in nauseating ways. Samara felt her mind begin to fracture under the assault of unreality. But then she felt it, a warmth spreading from her core. The spark within her suit was reacting, creating a bubble of sanity in the madness. She saw the others experiencing the same thing, their suits glowing with inner light. They pressed on, deeper into the impossible geometries of the void. Time lost all meaning. They could have been traveling for minutes or millennia. Finally, they reached what could only be described as the heart of the void, a singularity of darkness, so dense it seemed to draw in thought itself. "Now," Samara shouted, her voice sounding strange even to her own ears. "Release the stardust." As one, they launched the concentrated sphere of spark-infused particles directly into the core of the void. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the universe exploded. Light and darkness clashed in a cataclysm beyond human comprehension. Samara felt herself being torn apart and remade, her consciousness expanding to encompass vast stretches of space and time. In that moment of cosmic apotheosis, she understood. The void wasn't evil. It was simply the other side of creation, the darkness that gave meaning to the light. And the spark, Earth's unique energy, was the bridge between them. With a thought that encompassed galaxies, Samira reached out, not to destroy the void, but to transform it, to find balance. Reality shuddered, reformed, and stabilized. When Samara came back to herself, she was floating in space, the others beside her. Before them, where the void had been, was something new. A cosmic nebula of unparalleled beauty, where darkness and light danced in perfect harmony. As the Stardust carrier approached to retrieve them, Samara knew that nothing would ever be the same. They had not merely saved the galaxy, they had fundamentally changed it. The final gambit of Operation Stardust had succeeded beyond their wildest dreams, and humanity, the youngest race in the cosmos, had proven itself to be the key to a new era of galactic peace and understanding. As they were brought back aboard the ship, exhausted but triumphant, Samara looked out at the transformed cosmos. The battle was over. But humanity's journey among the stars, that was just beginning.